Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to some Naya. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you all are doing great. So it looks like some white people are finding out about our sundown town, and also somebody finding out that she lives in a sundown town. And she was like, "Oh, really? I never knew people do this awful thing. I am going to leave." I think she heard her story from a black man who talked about his experience in a sundown town. I posted that video on Naya Sim, right? So you can go check it out. The reality is that it looks like some white people do not understand the extent of how black people have been maltreated in United States. Because each time I hear them say, you are lucky that you are in the land of the living, you are in the land of milk and honey. Trust me, I would rather be back in Nigeria or live where I would live in my home country. I am not lies or no doubt about it. Because I always feel that that thing is gaslighting. That people that look like me are being unalive, and you are telling them that it is a privilege. That they are not starving in Africa. Such a dense person that do not even know where Africa is. So Sundown Town is a thing. And you all should start asking your parents and your grandparents questions. Because majority of them know what is going on in that Sundown Town. Ask them if they have participated too. Let them tell you, even when they were younger, let them talk. We need to know. Let's get into this video.
I just realized I live in a fucking sundown town. I am in Astoria, Oregon, like right in the tippy top of Oregon, right next to Washington. And I just happened to be watching a video of some dude's experience. He was truck driving in Florida and he broke down at a gas station, and the little lady was like freaking out because the sun was about to go down. She was like, you got to get out of here. She calls the police. They come and escort him somewhere else. He thinks he's getting the cops called on him, and it turns out she's trying to protect him, which is cool. But dude, okay, so I was like curious to see how many of these still existed, because like in places like Florida or Texas, or where I'm from originally, like the South, you expect that shit. That's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, there's still some fucking disgusting little racist assholes. People are still stupid here. You know what I mean? So you assume that shit. You're like, yeah, well, it sucks, but like it's not surprising because that's just the way these shitty people are. But I live in Oregon, where I thought that like people are like super progressive and blah, blah, blah. And I know this place has like super racist roots. I know that like the history of this place was pretty racist, but like I thought, anyway, so I'm all like fucking over the place because I'm so upset right now. So I started looking at other videos to see like how many of these places still exist, and there's this map where you can look, and it has these red dots, and the red dots are like darker if it's like certain. And in my I was like, oh, I wonder how many of these are in my state, so like I can avoid these places. Bitch, I live in one of them, and it's one of the ones that's like certain. And now that I think about it, I hardly ever see black people here. What the fuck? I'm gonna move. I'm gonna fucking move. This is ridiculous. I can't believe. And I was surprised because I saw a black comedian, a creator, was talking about growing up here, and she was like, Lake Oswego, they call it Lake No Negro. And I was like, Lake Oswego is fucking the sundown town? This is crazy, y'all. I'm like, and I'm just gonna say, for any like, you know, nobody will see this video. I have literally no followers, but if you are somebody who thinks you are better than other people because of the color of your skin, you are fucking stupid. Like, not only are you not better, you're fucking ignorant, and like Neanderthal little mind can't compute a simple fact like skin color does not determine shit about people. In fact, the people who are molesting children and shooting up schools and doing unspeakable awful things most often are fucking white people. So if you happen to have that little thought in your fucking brain, you need to know it's just the opposite. Actually, they're better than you because they probably realize that skin color does not determine whether or not you're a good person. or whether or not you're valid, or whether or not you're worthy, or whether or not you deserve to have a good life or money or whatever the fuck. Like, that is such backwards ass, like, toothless cousin fucking trailer trash, pathetic, disgusting. Like, when I hear people when I hear that people still think like that, that's what I imagine. I imagine you're living in a fucking in a shithole trailer, fucking your cousins, like that right there. You are disgusting, and you are not better. You are definitely not better. In fact, every single person you see of color is immediately better than you by default, and I just need you to know that, okay? Oh, I'm so upset. See, and that's the thing, like, I've heard that Astoria used to be really dangerous. I've heard it used to be like a lot of really rough around the edges type people, like fishermen, loggers, that there were drugs, that there were bar fights where people got murdered, that there were like a lot of hookers, and a lot of just sketchy shit that used to take place here. But I never heard that there was anything like specifically, you know, like racism centered. However, it is definitely possible that this is still going on. As far as I know, it changed, like it used to be in the 80s and 90s when it was like really dangerous and bad, but then it kind of got cleaned up, and they closed down a lot of the scary places and changed them into like from, you know, sketchy bars to restaurants, and made it more family friendly and all that. So I don't know, it's definitely possible, but just as someone who's only been here for a couple years and who doesn't really know much about it, it's just so shocking to find out that this beautiful little town has such a dark history. Because honestly, like, it's a cool, funky little town. It feels like a little baby San Francisco. It's beautiful here. There's so much art and culture for a small town, and it just seems like a good place. So it's really sad that humans do such awful things. It's disappointing, honestly. Like, humans are awful.
I literally just find out what a sundown town is. It is basically these little towns in the middle of the Midwest, or like places where it is overruled by rednecks, basically, or like there is more population, or like rednecks. And so what I found out is that, like, after, like, it gets dark, like when the sun goes down, basically what the name is, they start like unaliving people, like, of color, if they see anyone like around them. And it just made me think about it, because I'm literally in the Midwest, and also I'm in these little towns. I'm like 50 minutes away from the city, and so, like, literally I'm like by farms and all this. I don't know. I thought it was just funny, because I'm delivering to these places, and since I'm a Mexican of color, you know, like a morenito, that was funny. I don't know.
The fact that sundown towns still exist is crazy as fuck. I just watched a video of a guy waiting for their ride because they ran out of gas. They're at a gas station. And was told to get the fuck out of the town. He is recording himself sitting in front of a tree. And this racist bitch goes up to him and says, "That's a nice tree behind you. You look good in front of it." That shit is sick as fuck. These people are sick as fuck. The fact that it's 2025 and this shit is still happening is crazy as fuck.
I want to ask black people, how would you feel?
What is this hard B in black that I keep hearing? I'm gonna get to your question, but I think we have to address the use of language a little bit. We use certain, like, subtle octave changes and maybe voice tone, deflect, little things. That one we should probably put an end to. It's very weird when I hear it. But after you said black 3 times in your video, you asked how would black people feel if white people had an event once a year and they called it White Beach Week and black people were excluded. That's like the black experience. The black experience is exclusion. If you want to get real specific with it, do you know what a sundown town is? Maybe you don't know. So a sundown town is a town that excludes, and I'm using that real lightly, people of color after the sun goes down. In a sense, you better not be caught after the sun goes down in these spaces. That's an extreme version of this, but there are several comments that are like hee hee ha ha in your comment section that are addressing it. Like one of them even was like the Hamptons. The Hamptons is the example of the black version of what you were talking about. The difference is those spaces that are predominantly white and not labeled that way are unsafe for black people. There is black events, and when white people enter them, they're not in danger. They're not invited, but they're not in danger. That was not an invite. That wasn't saying to go to them. But they're not exclusionary. They're intentional.
This is all I got from this video. And see, the truth is that you all have to start talking to yourself, start talking to one another, start educating one another. Because how do you tell me in 20? Some people will tell you, oh, I thought that existed in the 90s, 70s, 80s, and all that. Ma'am, in 2025, sundown towns are still a thing, a huge thing. So you all better start asking your parents, your grandparents, what happened. And also you can check if you live in a sundown town. Yeah. Because your parents might also know about it and shut up, or people, they might know it and shut up. And now you all are also building all white town. The only thing I hear is nothing but sundown town. Yes. Because anything that got to do with all white town must be a sundown town. The fact that black people had their own community where you all brought down back then, and still till they build, they build, you demolish, they build again, you come back again. Black towns are very harmless, peaceful. Unlike when you build yours. They say they are protecting their culture. And I said, which culture exactly are you protecting? Because you have to let me know what you are protecting. Sincerely speaking, I know you are not protecting anything. You are just looking for another way or another means to get to people that look like me. We know that already. Black people are not scared about you building your town. They are not scared about you having your own space or having an all-white signage and all that. The only fear that comes with it is that it is going to be very unpeaceful. Because this is what you all have shown black people all those years. You hear me right? So if you are a white person and you're trying to tell me that you don't know about sundown town, where people that look like me go and they will never return, go and ask a question, read a book, so that when black people talk about their experiences, you won't start acting like you know nothing. And when you don't know nothing, just shut up and listen from the people that know something. I will draw the curtain here. Bye for now.